and welcome to Around the Clock. I'm your host, Yolanda Greaves. On today's show, I'll be sharing an interview I did with Corey Rodriguez and Jonathan Tilson, the two comedians who participated in the Ashland Business Association's Comedy Night. We'll also be speaking with some members of the Upper Charles Trail as we are here at the ribbon cutting of the Trolley Brook Trail, the first section of our portion of the Upper Charles Trail that goes through 3 communities. I will also have the select board update, and we'll have a few stops on our Around the Town tour. We'll be stopping at a bench near the Ocean House that was dedicated and presented by the Rotarians of Framingham, and we'll be going to the Ashland High School for a COVID vaccine clinic for young students. Again, we are outside trying to enjoy this wonderful weather as our studios are still under construction. So stay with us as I bring you Around the Clock. Hello, it's time for the Select Board update for the meeting that happened on Wednesday, November 17th. Hard to believe it's already that time in November. We started our meeting at 7 p.m. We had 3 different hearings that we had to go through. The first was for our property tax classification. So Richard Ball, our assessor, comes in and talks to us about some different reviews of the property and the assessment. The assessments, of course, for most properties have gone up a little bit. Our tax rate that we voted on will be $15.46 per thousand. The tax rate has gone down, but because property values have gone up, you will see a slight increase in your taxes for the fiscal 2022 year. From there, we went into a hearing for a road layout. This was for the High Street Extension and Weaver Road. If you head up on High Street, you'll find High Street Extension. We approved the layout hearing, and now it will go to town meeting for approval to accept those roads by the town. Our third hearing was for a change of management over at Stone's Public House. A change of manager. So we spoke to the new manager. We also congratulated him on all the great new updates and changes to the exterior of Stone's Public House. If you haven't been there recently, go and check it out. And we approved all 3 of those decisions that we had to discuss. From there, we had a presentation by AREA. They are Ashland Residents for Equity and Inclusion. They came to talk to us about what the organization and group has been doing. The group has been working for about a year. They're working to get their 501(c) status. They've worked with our schools, and a number of their members have been appointed or elected to some boards here in town. They meet on the 3rd Thursday of every month. If you want to go ahead and participate, it's ashlandequity.org is their website. You can check out what they're doing and sign up for their newsletters. And we thank the board members for coming and speaking with the Select Board. From there, we went into old and new business. We had a preview of town meeting, which is on December 1st. There are only 8 articles, so it should be pretty quick and pretty easy. Not too much heavy lifting this time of year. It's a lot of articles that we have to do on an annual basis. And there will be a forum on Monday, November 29th, if you'd like to hear about all the articles in more detail. We talked about the Boston Marathon. It has now been approved. The next running will be on April 18th, 2022. They are back to their spring time frame. We talked about an EVERSOURCE notice of filing for their 3-year sustainability plan. You can go online. It's one of those things that they have to do to let us know that they're working on their sustainability plan. We didn't go into much detail, but the documents are available on the website with our agendas. From there, we talked about, in more detail, the American Rescue Plan funds. We had put a survey out about 3 months ago to find out what people would like to do with those funds. We have a tentative plan of what to do with the $5.2 million. Some of it will be going to downtown work for infrastructure and water. We also have tentatively planned some property and a few other things. Again, for the detail, you can go and look at the agenda. There is some discussion as to what happens for projects where you use that money and now you're using the rescue plan funds? The money that was originally deemed for downtown is now going to be able to be used for other projects. From there, we talked about the Rotary Bench, which was donated by the Framingham Rotarians. It sits next to, over by the Ocean House, right by the waterfalls. A beautiful place to sit and reflect and enjoy our outdoor space. We then had some updates on our priority projects. So here at the At the Rail Transit District, we are at and getting ready for the ribbon cutting for the Trolley Brook Trail. We then talked about the downtown. We had a construction update. EVERSOURCE is doing their work in the undergrounding. If you go into downtown, you see all the work at Summer and Homer. They're trying to get that finished before the holidays or before we get further into December. The goal is to not impact the businesses downtown. From there, we talked about the public safety building and the MINDESS. Again, the public safety building, you just need to drive by and you can see the work that's being done. They're currently starting to work on interior. There's a roof on the building and siding is starting to go up. The MINDESS building the MINDESS is having a groundbreaking ceremony in December 8th. So you can be on lookout for that and either participate or we're even going to try and live stream it on WACA-TV. From there, we talked about Route 126. EVERSOURCE is done with their gas work on Route 126, so they'll be out of the picture in regards to some of the traffic. Of course, construction is still going on. It's a project that will take till probably 2024. We then talked about the Valentine project. We went through the soil study. We are going to have to do some remediation because of arsenic that has been found. And we are going to be doing cabling to strengthen the barn before the winter. And then in the spring, the barn will be taken apart and rebuilt. And the last thing we had some updates from our town manager, COVID clinic that was held at the Ashland High School for students 5 through 11. We had almost 600 students come through. It was done in conjunction with the Holliston Public Schools, and a big thank you to Ed Berman for getting that process and that's the clinic set up. That was for the first shot. The second shot for these students will be on Wednesday, December 1st. We talked about the CORDAVILLE Road Bridge. We're looking at the safety of that. We may have to bring it down to one lane. We haven't decided yet. So as that happens, we'll bring you more information on that. And we got an update on the police chief survey, the police chief search. We are working with a consultant, and town manager Michael Herbert will be setting up focus groups with different areas and different groups in the community, so be on the lookout for that. The survey is still open if you'd like to go and give your input on what is going on or what you'd like to see as a police chief here in Ashland. We wrapped up just after 10 o'clock, lots of great discussion, and that is the update for the select board meeting that happened on Wednesday, November 17th. Hello and welcome back to Around the Clock. It's time for our Around the Town tour. We have 3 stops for you today. The first is going to be at the Ashland High School, where a big thank you to Ed Berman. He coordinated a COVID-19 vaccine clinic for students aged 5 through 11. He coordinated with the town of Holliston. Almost 600 vaccines were handed out, and there was a lot of great footage. They had some therapy dogs and even some superheroes. So let's go take a look and a listen at that clinic.
Hi, I'm Ed Berman from the Ashland Police Department. I'm also the COVID-19 Task Force lead for the town of Ashland. Today, November 10th, we're running our first vaccine clinic for 5 to 11-year-olds since Pfizer was just approved for vaccination for 5 to 11-year-olds. This is a combination clinic for Ashland Public Schools and Holliston Public Schools. And today we're going to be vaccinating 600 kids we have signed up for today.
My name is Amy Childs. I'm a nurse practitioner, and we are giving out the COVID-19 vaccines over at the Ashland High School for 5 to 11-year-olds. So Benjamin was the first vaccination to happen today, and he said it was just a little bit of a pinch, not too bad, and as mom, I was able to administer that for him. So today is emotional. It's been overwhelming thinking of the possibility of what this means for our family returning to some normalcy and having the kids being able to get together with their friends and family inside, especially as the holidays approach. So I am just so grateful that it's available now, that it's available in our town, and that Benjamin was able to receive it.
Thank you again to Ed Berman and all the volunteers and staff who helped him coordinate that great clinic. And their next one, the second shot for those students, is going to be available on December 1st, also at the Ashland High School gym. You can go to town meeting at the same time.
We have a lot of nurse volunteers here today that have volunteered their time to help vaccinate. Also, we have Regis College and Mass Bay Community College here with their instructors and with some of their students that are going to be vaccinating today also. Also, we have 9 students from Ashland High School who are doing some of their community service tonight and are here volunteering also.
Hello, my name's Captain America. My day job is actually the principal of the Miller Elementary School over in Holliston. We are very thankful today that Ashland has organized these vaccines for our younger students ages 5 through 11. In just 45 minutes, we had over 300 doses signed up for, and that kind of filled up what Holliston had in this. And again, we are very grateful that this is going on just to make our schools safer. Thank you.
It has been a long pandemic, and I think the idea of, as adults, getting our vaccine several months ago gave us all so much hope. But for those of us who have kids, knowing that they're not protected, it's been hard. It's been hard being in a family where some people are protected and some people aren't. And so my kids are quickly getting their vaccines as well, and we're all eager to be able to go back into society and get back to things as normal as they can be.
Hey everybody, it's Michael Herbert, Town Manager here in the town of Ashland. I'm here at Ashland High School at our regional vaccine clinic for young kids ages 5 through 11. This is a regional partnership that we put together with the town of Holliston. We're distributing about 600 vaccines today. Again, it's a partnership with the town of Holliston, so we're about 50-50 each way in terms of Ashland kids and Holliston kids. Really have to thank Sergeant Ed Berman, our COVID task lead, for putting this together and logistically putting it on. Obviously, I'd like to thank the school department for being willing to host it here. It's a really great setup. I can't say enough about it. People are moving in and out very quickly. We've got some characters here for the kids to entertain them. We've got some cartoons going on in the recovery room here in the cafeteria. Again, we've got a lot of volunteers here helping from the school department, the town of Ashland and Hopkinton, as well as from some of our local regional colleges and universities. So if you're interested in having your kid vaccinated, and I hope you are, please come on down, or we'll be having future vaccination clinics. So be on the lookout for those and when those are and where those are going to happen. And again, I'd encourage you to come and get vaccinated. All right, again, Michael Herbert, Town of Ashland Town Manager, and hope to see you soon.
And their next one, the second shot for those students, is going to be available on December 1st, also at the Ashland High School gym. You can go to town meeting at the same time. From the high school, we're going to head over to Ocean House and the waterfalls over at Mill Pond. A big thank you to the Framingham Rotarians for a donation of a bench. If you want to go check it out, it's a beautiful bench, and it is in the style of all the benches that we'll be putting downtown once the downtown renovation is completed. So go take a sit and look at that great view. And thank you again to the Rotarians for that bench. The next stop in our Around the Town tour is on the other side of town at the Memorial Drive end of the new Trolley Brook Trail. It was a great ribbon cutting ceremony. Let's go take a look and a listen at some of the speeches and some of the interviews we did there.
1, 2, 3.
My name's Michael Herbert. I'm the town manager. I'd like to welcome you all to the long-awaited opening of Ashland's Trolley Brook Trail, which is going to be our first section of the Upper Charles Trail in Ashland that we've completed. So everybody be happy for that. You know, it's hard to believe that only a few years ago this whole area was supposed to be 900 more units of housing. And that was realized right after the Sears apartments were built. And in 2018, the town decided that it wanted to have a new vision for the rail transit district, and part of that was purchasing this lot. And one of the key components of that vision was to complete Trolley Brook Trail, because it's a great amenity, it's great as part of the Upper Charles Trail, and it also stands alone as its own trail as well, linking this area into downtown. It also has history, both old and new. It was part of the Hopkinton Railroad Cliff Wilson can give you a lesson on why it shouldn't be called the Trolley Brook Trail. But it also has recent history as well, as it runs adjacent to one of the largest site remediation projects in national history. But of course, none of this would be possible without the hard work and efforts of a dedicated team of volunteers and staff. And I would like to take a moment to both recognize and thank them. First, I would like to thank the Upper Charles Trail Committee. I know you're all spread out here. Joel Arbeitman, Valerie Paul, David Rosenblum, Preston Crow, Tony Lewis, Chuck Litz, and Rob Shearer. You guys have worked tirelessly for years to see this happen, and I congratulate you. I'd also like to recognize and thank our elected officials here in attendance. First, I'd like to thank the Ashland Select Board who have supported this project from the very beginning. Chair Joe Mignani, Vice Chair Brandy Kinsman, Rob Shearer, Yolanda Greaves, and Steve Mitchell. Again, they've been steadfast helpers. I would also like to thank Representative Jack Lewis and Susan Nickel, who is here from State Senate President Spilka's office. Both of them have found ways to get money to this project through the state budget process, and it's been greatly appreciated. I also want to thank the Mass Trails Program, the Friends of the Upper Charles Trail, the Ashland Conservation Commission, the Ashland Community Preservation Committee, the Metro West YMCA, Rick Alberini, I told you there was a lot of people, the Metropolitan Area Planning Council, Ramco, and BSC for their partnership in this. And then finally, I'd like to thank our town employees, namely Peter Matchak and Jim Ball, Beth Reynolds, Ashley Place, and Diane Mortensen, and our DPW, whose first act was to get a 25-foot boat out of here. I still want to know how it got here first. I mean, it's unbelievable. The main reason why I wanted to start off things this morning is I thought our next speaker deserved his own introduction. Rob Shearer was elected to the Ashland Select Board in 2015 after campaigning on a platform that included the implementation of the Upper Charles Trail. Since that time, he has ensured that the Upper Charles Trail was included in our agenda, or I should say every agenda, bringing it up at almost every meeting, and sometimes at the expense of being the subject of good-natured ribbing. Sometimes twice a meeting. Rob's the only person I know who could take a discussion about the 495-90 interchange and bring in the Upper Charles Trail. But I will tell you, he is a big reason we are here today, and I've come to really admire and respect his persistent yet effective and respected style of advocacy. I think it's actually something many of us can take a page from. So, with that being said, I'd like to... respectful, I got a class about this. Okay. So with that being said, I'd like to introduce Rob.
Well, thank you for those kind words, Michael. You know, I did. Was there anybody? You know, members of Ashland Upper Charles Trail. Would you mind just raising your hands again to people? Another great job, and thank you for all your work. It's been working with that group for about 5 or 6 years. Sorry, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm not as good at Michael as projecting my voice. He's good at that. You know, I'm not going to say too much. There's a lot of people here that have been very involved and actually, frankly, more up on the details than I am of this. But the one thing I think that I think it is important to note that, you know, Ashland has a unique challenge in that this is the only stretch of trail that actually was a former transportation corridor, whether it was trolley or rail or what you want to call it. The rest is all difficult rights of way through and near public land or private land, and our next big step is to try to figure that out and actually go at that systematically so we can complete the rest of the trail and use this kind of unique funding opportunity to actually keep things moving. So I would, two things here is to really recognize the efforts of the people here, but also note and take appreciate the success and the beauty of this stretch and the promise it shows for the potential of a multimodal trail. I think I'm preaching to the choir here. All of you know the values of these kind of trails, and but the other thing to take from this is the need to move forward expeditiously. This is that respectful advocacy. To use this opportunity, that public funding to establish the rest of the route, to control the easements, and to continue to move forward. And so I appreciate and recognize the efforts of these people, and I guess my message to you is to urge to move forward, to build on this success and to move forward for the rest of the, I think, 3 or 4 miles through Ashland and the connection for the rest of the Upper Charles Trail. So thank you for that support. Now applaud, please. I hope. Yeah. All right. Thanks. Thank you. And so I do want to take the moment here just to, recognize we've got Steve, the regional DCR. That's you, the tall guy, right? So do you want? He's Kevin. I'm sorry. Oh God, this is why I don't have my glasses. So, from DCR, he's the guy in charge of all the state parks around here. So be nice to him. And we have some issues to talk with him about. Okay, so without any further ado, I wanted to introduce, I'm going to introduce our Representative Jack Lewis. Is Jack here to say a few words? Jack's office has always been very supportive. And Jack, when you're finished, I'm going to ask you to then call upon Susan Nickel of Senator Spilka's office. So, okay. I'll let these guys decide. All right, thank you.
Let you talk. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks.
Oh, it is great to be with all of you. As I was saying to a couple folks before, this is really a testament to Ashland. Your select board, your town manager, your committees, not always being on the same page, but doing the hard work, making sure at the end of the day you are on the same page and that you actually move forward together. This keeps the pressure on surrounding communities to continue to do just this in their communities as well, to connect these trails that the hardworking volunteers we've already heard from today always talk about, especially around budget time. You're not shy about talking about the funds we need to connect these communities. But this project today really puts the pressure on those other communities to make sure they step up as well, they invest the money, and they connect the dots that Ashland has done for them. Anything from Karen's?
Just her greetings, I guess. She's really sorry that she can't be here. As you know, these kinds of things are really exciting to her as a bicyclist and an enthusiast about the outdoors. And she has been kind of bugging me for a while. When's that opening? When's that opening? And then it turns out that she couldn't be here. So she did want me to send a congratulations and thanks to everybody who worked on it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm just going to take the opportunity to read out some of the distinguished guests here before we're going to wrap up the speaking program very shortly with two more stellar speakers, Joe Magnani, the chair of the select board, and Joel Arbeitman, who's had a little bit to do with this trail during the years. But I do want to just call out some folks here, distinguished guests. Is Peter Sutton here from Mass DOT? Here. Thank you, Peter, for all your work and your support. Thank you. Paul Jagney from DCR Trails, is he here today?
No, he's not.
Okay.
Maybe not is here from DCR, though, in Trails.
All right. Raise your hand. Thank you for all your work. Is Amanda here?
No, just us two.
Oh, no, just you. Because Amanda, we like to harass about grant applications, and she's done a great job with that. All right. And from the Y, Peter Weisgerber. Peter, thank you for being here. The Y helped us with a right-of-way. They're going to build a great facility right over here. Oh, and the CEO from the Y, Rick, could you just say your last name? McPherson, right? Yeah, very good. Thanks, Rick, for coming here and supporting us on this. And Peter, thanks for pointing to him. So that was very good. All right, good job.
Good career move.
Yeah, very good. And the people who built this trail, Ramco, Mark McLeod, is he here? Or somebody from Ramco? I know. Oh, thank you. Thank you for excellent job. And Bill Paley's here. Bill had all the bad ideas on the project. That's what I was told. Is that true? Bill, thank you for all your... Bill's been at this for months, emails and, very good. Thanks, Bill, for being here and doing this. Kevin Holland back. I called him Steve. Kevin, sorry about that for DCR. I think that's, Aaron is here from CPC, who is key funders. Aaron is one of our volunteers. He's back there watching his kid. Thanks, Aaron. So I think, did I miss it? Robert Weidenecker, is he here? He can't. Weideneck, he's not here. Okay, so anyone else that I missed that's on our list of distinguished guests? All right. Who's? David Lautzen. Oh, David's here. David, thank you for all your work over the years. MAPC guy. He does a lot of trails work. Thank you, David. Okay, so what do we got? So Joe Magnani's turn. Joe's gonna. Joe, why don't you come up forward? And Joe, I told Joe no more than 35 minutes. Is that right? Is that okay? 5 minutes. All right. Joe's our distinguished select board chair. Go ahead, Joe, and you can introduce the other Joe.
You can stay right here.
All right.
Because over the years, since the Upper Charles Trail was a discussion and not something that's actually in fruition, as we can see today, he was the butt of many a joke from me. From me. Because I would say
there's more coming. I understand.
There's plenty more coming, absolutely, but it was all done in good key, and I was just want to say thank you for the work that you do.
All right, thank you.
And thank you to the committee that put a lot of time and effort into it, and the staff, the town staff that, as Michael has already said, you put a lot of time and effort into it, and it takes away from the other things that you do, but you did it, and you did it willingly, and you did it with appreciation, and actually I'll say the word love, because you have to love what you do to be a town employee, because you're not going to get rich, but you do it because you love the community that you're in. Well, maybe Michael will, but I don't know about us. So again, thank you to everybody who has been part of this process, and as Representative Lewis said earlier, we appreciate all the work that they do, and we'll continue to knock on their doors for more funding and to continue the work that needs to get done. So this project and other projects in our town will come to fruition. And we thank everybody here for being here. And yes, I'm wearing my Patriots shirt, my Patriot hoodie, because it was a great game last night. But other than that, so thank you very much. Right, thank you, guys. Thanks. And now I would like to introduce Joel R. Beitman, #1 AKA Cyclist of the Year. I just made that up. I
actually have a little trophy at home.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh, good. So we don't have to buy you one?
No.
Okay, you're up.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for being here today. Today I made my very first ride over the trail since it's been paved. And I have to tell you, I've ridden thousands of miles, really, on bike paths all over New England, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, New Hampshire, and it doesn't get any better than this. This is really just a fantastic trail. It was built very, very well. Most of the people have already been thanked, but I'll get to this, but I do want to single out a few people. The history of this trail is interesting to me. I like to think that we in Ashland came up with the idea of building a trail, but actually it began in Milford with the Milford town planner Reno DeLuzio, and also tremendous effort by Robert Weideneck, the chair of the Holliston Trail Committee. Those two guys are genuine visionaries, and they had an idea not just to build trails in their town, but to build a regional trail. And they came and had a big forum a long time ago, getting to be too long ago, and asked Ashland and Hopkinton and Sherborne to join in and build more trail there. More on this later. I'm going to read some of this to shorten the time I'm up here. And now here in Ashland, it's our turn to build our portion of the Upper Charles Trail. Today we celebrate our first completed section. The Trolley Brook Trail that we opened today is a mere 0.6 miles long. But nevertheless, it's a giant first step in helping Ashland become part of the dream. People and agencies too numerous to mention have worked very hard to make this happen today. And again, a few people I want to single out. The Upper Charles Trail Committee which has 9 current members and 2 prior members, has met probably over a couple of hundred times. We have walked over almost every square inch of this town in the snow and the ice. I one day had mud up to here walking around. I mean, really bad. And you know, it was all part of the planning process. You've got to get out in the field. You can't just sit in an office and work on your computer. You got to get out and see what's going on. So I want to very much thank the Upper Charles Trail Committee and all of our members. They've all been mentioned already. I just want to mention the 2 former members of the committee. Let me get the names here. William Child and Rick Hampson, who also put in a tremendous amount of time and effort with us. And I want to thank one other person especially, because she has been really instrumental in making this whole thing go. She's been the power behind our planning efforts to implement what we had come up with, and that is Jen Ball. I can't thank her enough for her efforts. Our goal in Ashland has always been to weave together all the key destinations in our community. That was the plan, like where should the trail go, where should it be? And we listed a whole bunch of destinations. Hopkinton State Park, which is located mostly in Ashland. I always like to highlight that to out-of-towners. Ashland State Park, the Ashland train station, which is right up the road here. Downtown Ashland, including Stone Park, Ashland High School, and all the commercial centers over by Market Basket along Route 126. And the trail, the vision for this trail is not just to have it go completely across Ashland, but to tie into the trail in Hopkinton that's being planned and developed, and the trail in Sherborne. And let me get to this next page here. We know that the Trolley Brook Trail is but one small piece of a much greater regional trail. The Upper Charles Trail, when completed, will be 30 to 35 miles long. And if I'm not giving away secrets here, at last summer's Rail Trail Forum hosted by the Metro West Regional Collaborative, MassDOT's bicycle and pedestrian coordinator, did I get that right?
That's correct.
Okay, Pete Sutton, he's standing right there. He can affirm or deny this. Shared some stunning news and great news. Mr. Sutton stated that he plans to route Massachusetts section of the East Coast Greenway, a trail that is planned to stretch from Maine all the way down to Florida, over the Upper Charles Trail. So all of a sudden, instead of being some little circle out here in the wilds of Metro West, we may become part of a very mainline trail that goes all the way down the East Coast. Incredible.
Is there money coming with that?
Yeah, not to you.
All right.
All right, and so somebody, I think somebody was making fun of Rob's tying in the Mass 495 interchange. Well, he's not the only guy to do that. Lacking good access to the Mass Pike, Route 495, and Route 9 has made it difficult for Ashland to attract commerce that would improve Ashland's tax base. With the right vision and with the right commitment to a national trail route that one day could run right through our town from one end to the other, Ashland's section of the Upper Charles Trail could be a game changer. Opening the Trolley Brook Trail today is a great win for Ashland and its residents. It's important, though, to see this as a beginning and not an end. With this trail, we have a great opportunity to put Ashland on the map in a big way. Off-road paths like the Upper Charles Trail have a unique way, almost a magical way, of transforming communities. Let's get back to work. Thank you.
The ribbon. 1, 2,